Are haunted houses more haunted by ghosts or by the people that actually live inside them?
Cut! Turning around on her! The fuck does that mean?
Hi, welcome to the Underhold. I'm Robert Gresham, and today we're going to be talking about the new horror movie from Blumhouse, You Should Have Left, starring Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried. Immediately, the tone of this movie gets set very well by director David Cope, who previously worked with Kevin Bacon on Stir of Echoes, one of the greatest horror movies of the late 90s, based on a Richard Matheson book. Richard Matheson, very famous for I Am Legend, which is a way better book than this horrible Will Smith movie. Kevin Bacon stars as, you know what? I can't even remember his character's name. That's how important it is. You just think, yeah, it's Kevin Bacon. And he's this older husband of famous actress Amanda Seyfried. Now, I can't remember her character's name either. That's how important the names are to this film. The only one I do remember is young Ella, the daughter of these two characters. Now, immediately you're thinking, oh boy, here's Hollywood at it again, hiring a 60 plus, maybe late 50s. I mean, Kevin Bacon looks like he's got AIDS in this movie. They're hiring a really old dude to play the husband of a younger, very beautiful actress. This has that TV sitcom kind of jarring combo right away. And it's off-putting, but that actually is part of the movie. So as you're watching this and you're a little creeped out by the juxtaposition of their ages, you learn that that's something Kevin Bacon's character is actually very upset with. He doesn't like that people continually point out that he is much older than his wife. Some characters even asking him if he's her father, which definitely has to be creepy when he's putting the old bacon up inside those sleets. And there is a sex scene in the movie between the two, the leads, and it comes off as not very sexy, but like a grown-up's, like a parent sex scene. You know, they're in the car, their clothes are on, they're basically talking about bills and the future, and just kind of taking a break from work for a little while so that they can fix their relationship. It comes off as very realistic, but at the same time, it's a little jarring because they're so different in age. And it's something that they just focus on continuously. I mean, within the first 20 minutes of this film, we've been pointed out by 4 different characters that he's way too old for her and he don't like it. So this kind of sets up the central conflict of the movie. Does the older husband, is he worried about the younger wife? You know, maybe her fidelity, her actual interest in him. At one point he even says, you know, I knew I wasn't marrying you forever. I was only borrowing you for a little while. So even he knows that this is kind of it's not true love, it's just kind of staying comfortable. Now, the character of Kevin Bacon, we learn slowly has some background secrets. And these play into the film's overall narrative of why this haunted house summons him. And that kind of becomes another question the movie asks you. It's what I opened the video with. Are houses haunted by ghosts or by the current human occupants? And are their ghosts actually the ones that haunt them? And by that I mean like their histories, their memories, their toxic foundations in their life. Now, this question was way better asked and answered in The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. A great miniseries that kind of has the same ending as this movie. If you've seen the film, I don't want to, or the miniseries, I don't want to spoil it here for people who haven't seen the film, or both. But you get a similar payoff. It may have been new in 2017 when the book was first written. Now, this book was written in 2017, and within 1 year, optioned for a film with Kevin Bacon attached. Now, I think that once he learned David Cope was going to be directing it, he just jumped onto it. I mean, they have a really good history together. And as far as Blumhouse movies go, having David Cope direct the film, this elevates this movie beyond a lot of the other options that Blumhouse has given out. So you're not getting a kind of a low-budgety slasher movie or just a really poor premise, poorly executed like a lot of the other Blumhouse movies. This one almost plays a lot more like Invisible Man, which I'm hoping that this becomes more of the trend for Blumhouse, that they take some of these smaller concepts give them the attention that they deserve, and good actors and a decent sized budget, and you can make something really good. Now, there are some things about this movie that are reminiscent of the book House of Leaves. If you've ever read that, you're already way ahead of what this movie's plot's going to be. In fact, the writer of House of Leaves even tried to sue this movie for plagiarism. It didn't quite pan out in court, and enough changes here and there. But the house definitely feels like it might have been pulled right from House of Leaves. Now, that said, it plays out a lot more like The Haunting of Hill House's house, where the house itself was summoning problem people with problem pasts, their ghosts, and now trapping their souls within the house. And you learn that throughout the film, Kevin Bacon's character probably deserves to stay here. And that's overall the story without trying to give it too much away. There's a good creep factor. It definitely crawls under your skin at times. One of the things I guess I like but dislike at the same time about this film is you got the trailers which start to show that, hey, this house has got some like bizarre TARDIS features. It's way bigger on the inside than the outside. Kind of like my ex's hoo-ha. But that, once it happens in the film, is like immediately propelled into more of the action. Like, you get in the trailer that this may be a slow, subtle build of like learning that the house has got some issues. In fact, no, when they start to find out the house has got problems, it's too late. Hence the title, You Should Have Left. So, is this movie worth your time? I think at a very short 95, 96 minutes, it's pretty good as far as time waste. You know, you're going to be able to sit down, enjoy it. The performances are intriguing and good enough to keep you kind of locked in. The lighting is very moody. The location itself has a strangeness to it, which feels disconcerting and I think is great for a horror film. You take something very modern, give it some of these old gothic themes, and it really worked well. The acting really propels the film up from kind of this base, kind of a cheap horror movie concept, and it makes it into something not quite special, but better than a lot of the other Blumhouse films. So is it worth your time? Sure. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I did have to start it twice, though, because the first time I started watching it, that juxtaposition I was talking about with Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried's age really starts to present itself. And if you're not paying attention to the plot right away, and you're just kind of like throwing it in while you're like painting minis or bong hitting it out over here in the basement like my dungeon depressed asses, then you can miss that that's supposed to be a plot point. So when you start it back up, you know, if you're paying attention and you find out right away that their age difference is a catalyst for a lot of this, it helps the movie a lot, and it makes the casting great. Because when I look at Amanda Seyfried, I can't see beyond that bunny-eared bimbo that she played in Mean Girls. And that's, 20 years ago? I mean, she's got to be at least in her mid-30s by now. You know, a believable mom age and a believable age for someone who would marry somebody in their mid-50s, you know. But she still has that young, open face that, like her roles in like Linda Lovelace or Little Red Riding Hood or some of the other movies where she's tried to stretch that, gone. You know, they just don't always work, because you look at this face and she has that almost anime like open, innocent quality to that face that giving her any kind of deviousness doesn't really work for her. I think this is an actress that's got to be, you know, picking those Mamma Mia roles up, that bright, cheerful, where we can see that smile. You know, it's like, it sucks, but you don't see Julia Roberts doing a lot of serial killer movies. And it's just, she has a look, and Amanda Seyfried has that look. And in this film, that look actually helps, because it definitely adds to the creep factor. So, overall, You Should Have Left. I'm going to give it a C-. It's a decent horror film. It's got some scares, but at PG-13, it really pulls punches that it probably shouldn't have pulled, and it could have made this a more terrifying film. And what it ends up coming to is this almost like acceptance of closure is what it is. It's like the character gets closure, even though he doesn't deserve it in my opinion, and as an audience member. I would have liked to see the terror ranked up a little bit, a notch. So, hey, while you're checking this movie out, make sure that you're paying attention to all the little details, and definitely don't let spoilers ruin your life. Check it out next time on The Underhold.